I totally appreciate having faces versus the black screen, but I do understand. And when I coach for Prolon and I've got people in California and it's 8 a.m, they're like, nope, I'm in my pajamas and I'm not doing it.
Right. And that's what I listened to the recordings this past week. I emailed you. I'm from Rochester right now. So
Yes.
I'm going to look for the zonas in Rochester.
I remember. Yeah, I think my husband said there isn't any zonas that he thinks left in Rochester, maybe in Buffalo. So.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
hey, go Bills. I'm good.
Oh yeah, we're Bills fans. So.
Good.
Yes. So welcome everybody. MJ. Oh, you have a miserable cold. Oh, I'm so sorry. And actually, guys, if you have any questions at all, please throw them in the chat. I will, without a doubt, get to them. I've got a lot to cover tonight, but happy to answer questions at the end for sure. And for those of you who are watching this video, the replay that you'll be getting via email, feel free to email me if you have any questions about anything that I speak about this evening. Happy to help and answer anything that you might be wondering about. So I thank you guys for being here and showing up. Some of you know me, some of you don't know me. So I will just start by introducing myself. I'm Audrey Zona, and I am an integrative health coach specializing in the psychology of eating, weight loss, and food addiction. I come to this work with a bit of a story of my own, which I think is important to share. Let me just get these people in here. I'm going to give it a second because I've got a lot of people now joining. So just let's give it one more moment. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Thanks for coming. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for showing up. And I was just starting to say that if anyone has questions, throw them in the chat. I have a lot to cover this evening, but I will absolutely be here to answer any questions that you may have. And if you're watching the recording, feel free to email me at any point in time after you receive this. Okay, so I'm going to start over again. So I am Audrey Zona. I'm an integrative health coach specializing in the psychology of eating. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm so happy you're here and super excited to meet you. I come to this work with a story of my own. I was a very overweight child and I spent 3 summers in diet camp. Back then, we didn't even have Weight Watchers at that time. And my parents truly didn't know what to do with this chubby little girl that loved food more than anything in the world. And no matter what it was, whether it was sadness or happiness or whatever was going on for me in my life, food was where I gravitated. So I spent 3 summers in diet camp and it truly changed my life. And even at the young age of 9, 10, and 11, I developed this crazy passion for wellness and for health and for exercise and nutrition, and just sort of became fascinated with how food and movement and thoughts really would affect the body over time. This is my thing. This is sort of my passion. I was the chubby girl standing on the sidelines, being picked last for every single team. You know, you remember waiting to be picked for the kickball teams. They might even still do this where like you split it up and you're choosing the children. And I was the girl left last for years, day in and day out on that field. And when I got to this work, I remember saying to myself, I am going to help every single person out there to not be left standing last. I'm going to help every person that has issues with weight, their body, whatever that might be. I am going to help them to figure out how to be the best versions of themselves and to never feel like they have to be left standing on the sidelines. And that has really been my sort of mission and passion for the past so many years. I'm not divulging how old I am. So here I am, fast forward all these years, and I am coaching hundreds and hundreds of men and women and teens and even children around food and body image. And I hate to even use the word diet because it's not about a diet. We know diets do not work. It's about changing a lifestyle. It's about changing habits. It's about changing what's going on up here. And I just know the work I do with everyone is so unique and so special. And the idea of truly uncovering what is going on underneath it all and figuring out what it is that is causing you to trip up, what is causing you to eat the foods that probably aren't the healthiest choices for you. That's where the magic happens. Now, there are so many things that I could be on here for 3 hours tonight with you guys, but you signed up to hear about kicking sugar. And that's just one of the many topics that I'm super passionate about because I personally have had a sugar addiction my entire life. So tonight we're here to discuss the impacts of sugar on our bodies, the steps that we can take to limit it or even eliminate it in order to lose weight effortlessly and to land in the body of our dreams, to land in a right-sized body for ourselves. So if you can think back to your childhood, you go to the doctor, you go to the pediatrician, and you're leaving the pediatrician's office, and what are they handing you? A lollipop, right? As a young child, we're getting lollipops from the doctor. You fall and you bruise your knee, and mommy gets you a Band-Aid, and maybe she says, let's go for an ice cream cone. And all these little childhood things are happening. And very often they revolve around sugar. And this wiring, our parents just didn't realize, and I'm sure many of us are parents and we've done the same thing, that we are wiring this sugar addiction at a very, very, very young age. And it's set in stone in our brains. And especially for some people who are super addictive, they have an addictive personality. So we've used for years sugar as a pacifier of sorts. Our modern diet is truly hijacking our brains and keeping us addicted to the sugar and the processed foods. And I believe that most people have a really hard time having just one cookie. Now, are there people out there that can do that? Absolutely. I know many of them. But most people I know can't just do one. They want many. They want it daily. They want it weekly, and they're looking for it over and over and over again. These foods are highly palatable, designed by scientists, spending millions, multi-millions of dollars to keep us addicted, to keep us from being able to stop. That's their motive. We have to get smart, and we have to figure out how to work around what's being done to our brains. These highly addictive foods, they light up part of the brain. You get a hit of dopamine. I'm sure you've heard these words being thrown around before. You get a high, kind of like doing a drug. It is spoken that sugar is just as addicting or more than even cocaine. I mean, it's written in science, there's data on it. It's kind of crazy. Dopamine gets triggered, and we have all these memories from childhood, traditions and birthdays and all kinds of things. Sugar has so much of an emotional connection for us, as well as a physiological connection. Sugar and white flour are powerful drugs, and science shows us that the more these drugs light up your brain, the more you need them to light up the brain. So I'm going to jump into a bit of a PowerPoint because I think it's nice for you guys to have something to look at other than me, and you might want to take notes. And I'm going to speak as we go through the PowerPoint, and I'll speak again after I close the PowerPoint up. So, okay, here we go. So, some startling statistics. About 108 million people are on diets in the US. Crazy. It's crazy to me. The average dieter makes 4 to 5 attempts every single year to diet. There is truly an obesity epidemic happening. 22% of slender people struggle with food and sugar addiction. Like I said, our modern diet is truly hijacking our brains and blocking us from losing weight. And I want to say it is not your fault. You are not broken, I promise you. Sugar also wipes out our immune systems and creates so much inflammation within the body. And just to give you some perspective, 2 slices of wheat bread, which so many people will just have a whole wheat bread at the deli or even at home, has the same glycemic response as a 12-ounce can of soda or a Snickers bar. So eating things like whole wheat bread are still super addicting and very unhealthy, unless it's a whole grain sprouted bread, and we can get into that at another time. But your traditional wheat bread is truly not healthy. I love to talk about the willpower gap and cravings, because so many of my clients come to me saying, Audrey, I just have no willpower and it's just such a problem. And I say, no, there is no such thing as willpower, okay? Willpower and motivation are extremely fleeting things. They come, they go, they wax, they wane, depending upon what's going on in your life. Really, it's about discipline, commitment, and creating sustainable habits. That is what's going to help you to achieve your goals. It's not about the willpower. Trust me, I've been playing with this my entire life. Willpower, if you even want to think about it that way, gets depleted very, very quickly. Our lives are hectic, they're crazy, they're stressful. Between emails, social media, regulating your emotions, exercise, working, dealing with children, family issues, and stress, we just don't have it within us to truly say no to things, because cortisol is high. And when cortisol is high, we're looking to bring it down. That's sort of where the gap happens, where we're really not able to make a skillful decision because we just want to feed our bodies to bring it back into what we call parasympathetic mode. We want to feel relaxed. And the body and brain are brilliant. It knows what to do. When we eat sugar or white flour or high-fat foods, the body actually does get more regulated. But we can't keep using food as the coping mechanism. That's why many of us, millions of us have found ourselves in this predicament of having so much weight on us, and we don't even understand, how did this happen? We do find ourselves very hungry, and cravings come from a variety of places, from gut imbalance, looking for rewards, low serotonin and dopamine, boredom, sadness, lack of fulfillment, lack of sleep, and overall an unhealthy lifestyle. The more processed foods you eat, the more sugar that you consume, the gut flora is also being impacted. And I want you to understand that the bad guys in there, I always kind of refer to it as like the good guys and the bad guys. The bad bacteria, they feed on the sugar and the high carbohydrate processed foods. So the more you eat of them, the bigger that army gets. And it's almost like an outer body experience. And I can speak to it because I've had this happen many, many times, where I just got on this bad roller coaster of eating processed foods. And for me, it was always kind of sugar and chocolate and ice cream and things of that sort. And all of a sudden, my gut is so messed up and my cravings are so out of control. It almost feels like my brain has no control. And that's when I say the gut, those little boogers in the gut, they're calling the shots. They are running the show. And that's when people end up with yeast infections and all kinds of different things going on in their guts. And when I have a client say to me, where they describe that they just have no control, I often say, let's get some testing done. Let's do a stool test. And 9 times out of 10, I'm right. There's something going on in their gut and their bacteria is really, really off. So I just want you to know that it really isn't your fault sometimes, that there are different things physiologically going on that are really running that show. The other piece is the dopamine receptors in your brain. The more you eat the sugar and the more you include the processed foods, those receptors burn out. And it's like they don't they don't react the way they should. So if you were to get rid of sugar for a period of time, even an apple becomes so sweet and so delicious, and you would have such fulfillment from the apple. But right now, if you're eating lots of chocolate and sweets and things, you're going to need more of that to actually feel that dopamine hit. So what raises blood sugar and insulin? I just want to give you guys a little teaching here. I think it's important to understand. Hormonal changes. So a lot of my clients are in that menopausal space in their lives, and with decreased estrogen, insulin automatically increases. And so women will often say, I've got this like tire around my middle. I don't know where this came from. I never had this before. That's what happens during the menopausal years, but it doesn't have to happen. This is where we have to really take notice of the kinds of foods we're eating, the kind of exercise we're doing, and really paying attention to the little things that we can tweak within your diet to make a difference. Cravings come from that desire to have a reward, the dopamine response in the brain. Oftentimes it's emotional. It's crazy that blood sugar and insulin can be raised by emotional things that are happening in your body. When you're constantly flooding the brain with the sugar and high flours, like I just explained, the dopamine receptors burn out, and then you need more sugar to feel good. Stress also impacts insulin. Critical to reduce stress and work on creating that healthy lifestyle. We'll talk about that more at the end. Basically, to heal, we need to stop the sugar and the flour. Here's just a little chart about kind of what happens with blood sugar and insulin resistance over time. Over time, your body's ability to burn fat really decreases the more sugar and carbs that you end up eating within your diet. The pancreas releases insulin, ushering the glucose to the cells, and this release turns off the fat burning and then results in storage. So we really need to break this crazy cycle. So what do? How do we break this cycle? Pretty much we have to just start eating super balanced foods from the earth, wonderful sources of protein, lots of fiber, healthy fat, mixes of greens and vegetables, and a nice essential mix of macronutrients. The processed stuff, the foods out of the boxes and the bags, we're going to try to really, really limit. The more whole foods you eat from the earth or animal, the better you're going to feel. The weight will truly kind of just fall off. I've seen this so many times. Protein and fat don't directly raise blood sugar, but they slow the digestion as a whole, and they keep you feeling satiated for a longer period of time. I always will say, consider breakfast without the starchy carbs. So for any of you out there that are grabbing an English muffin or a bagel or a waffle, something very pastry-like, if it's more of a starchy carb you're having in the morning, we want to change that around so that we don't spike your insulin right away. I always suggest never skipping meals, always eating 3 to 4 hours in between, paying attention to hunger cues, always hydrating, slowing down, meditation, deep breathing. This is about creating a healthy lifestyle for yourself. And I want to go back to the don't skip meals. I have lots of clients that do intermittent fasting, and that's totally fine. That's something we can also discuss down the road, but it doesn't work for everybody. So I always encourage you, really think about what works best for you and play with it. Try it on for size. Just because your best friend does intermittent fasting and she's lost 30 pounds and it's been a miracle for her doesn't necessarily mean that it's the perfect thing for you. I just yesterday had a client say to me, you know, I've been doing intermittent fasting for like 6 months now, and I haven't lost any weight. This is a new client. And she's like, I don't think it really works for me. I think I get too hungry and eat so much more at the end of the day. So I really always say, let's do you. Let's figure out what really is the best for you in particular. And like I said, becoming curious about also what foods work for you, what really makes you feel great after the meal, not necessarily in the moment, and what guides your decisions around food. I love tools like Prolon to help with weight loss is amazing. Obviously, it's a longevity protocol, but also weight loss as well. And Amari Edge is another thing that I'll talk about down the road. I throw it in here because these two things are fabulous tools for helping your weight loss journey. Okay. Just looking to make sure that I'm on track here. So, susceptibility. Drugs do not affect everyone the same way. And like I said earlier, some people can have one bite of chocolate and push the bar away and they don't think about it for a month. Others have one bite, they want half the bar, and then they're looking for it every single day. So really knowing how susceptible you are to the sugar is super important. And that's when you can start to decide, is it something that I need to really get rid of? Is it something that I can have here and there? Listen, I always say, you never tell an alcoholic that they can have a sip. Truly, sugar and flour can be the same for people the way alcohol is. And so, and this is true, it's not, I'm not making this stuff up. I have many clients who have had to really give it up, like giving up alcohol, and they are much happier individuals because the torture that they go through in their brain, having it, not having it, have a bite, it's really challenging and can be so debilitating day to day. Cravings come from a place often being out of balance, whether you are out of balance internally or out of balance emotionally. Like I always talk about, stress and high cortisol is just number one killer. And the body is always looking to be in balance. Our bodies want to be grounded and centered. Our bodies don't want to feel off kilter. And so what happens is because of the lives we live, we're often in sympathetic mode. We're in fight or flight. But the body really wants to be calm, in rest and relax, in parasympathetic mode. What happens is the brain and body are brilliant. It knows exactly how to get into balance, and we often are using food as the coping mechanism. But what I am here to say and to offer something different, we need to find other ways to cope. We need to find other ways to deal with what emotions we're feeling with, the stresses that we're feeling with, without using food. Deep breathing, meditation, connecting in nature, journaling, even something as crazy as laying on your floor. I know this sounds wild, but it works. Getting the electrons from the earth totally regenerates your body. Sometimes just walking around your property for a couple of minutes, just getting outside, taking your mind off of what's going on in your home. And these are the things that I really, really dive into in my program. Understanding yourself on a deeper level, getting honest with where you are, creating awareness around your foods, creating mindfulness and a plan of action. Starting to pay attention to yourself is something that most of us really don't do. And that's where I'm going to encourage you to really slow down, listen, understand your hunger, understand your cues, understand what kind of self-care you actually need on a day-to-day basis. Okay, just make sure I'm in the right. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes this gets stuck. Okay. All right, here we go. So planning and preparing is key. Developing new habits for your life, learning how to work with your brain is key. I am a big Sunday meal prep girl. And if I don't prep on Sunday or on Monday, my week is a mess. It's just the way it goes. So I don't look at it as selfish at all. It's self-care. And if anyone's worked with me that's on this call, you know I'm all about the self-care and prepping on one day of the week, whatever works for you. It, to me, is an important thing. Now, you don't have to make everything, guys, but this is just about whether it's preparing salads, cutting up vegetables, hard boiling eggs, just spending some time preparing for the week so that you have things in your fridge ready to go. We are making thousands of decisions a day. If you don't prepare ahead of time, what's going to happen? You're ordering pizza, let's go out to eat. You fall off track time and time again. If you hate to cook, not a problem. We'll figure out whether it's finding prepared meals. I've got companies all over the country that can ship, all different things, but we need to get you support whether it's therapy, the meals, a coach, whatever, having things ready to go, they're just so imperative. New strategies and behavioral techniques are also a part of the planning and preparing. It's about, and when I say strategies and behavioral techniques, I'm really meaning like we're going to dive in and figure out what's happening in your day. What kind of behaviors are you doing or not doing that are tripping you up and not allowing you to achieve your goals? Focusing attention towards your physical body, your gut balance, supporting and nourishing foods and supplements are also part of the planning and the preparing. I also just want to mention here that so many of my clients will come to me saying, like, I just can't stop the cravings. And when we really dive into what they're eating throughout the day, we both realize that they're going hours without eating. So there's lots of little intricacies to the day and reasons as to why you might be craving sugar in particular. So if you're waking up in the morning and you're running out the door and you're just grabbing a cup of your coffee with your half and half, and before you turn around, it's 1 o'clock and you haven't eaten, and then you're really overeating and you're kind of chasing your hunger all day, it's no surprise that by 3 or 4 o'clock, you're just really overdoing it. And that's kind of, I call it the snack parade. That's when the snack parade begins. And you're just eating so many things, you just can't seem to get settled. And then you're almost too full for dinner. You kind of skip dinner and then it all starts again because you're hungry again. So there's a lot of nuance to timing and rhythm of meals. And that is also something that I really, really dive into. Okay. So meal prep and snack ideas. These are just some ideas that I have. You're welcome to write these things down, take a screenshot, whatever. These are things that I do on a very regular basis. I've got recipes for crock pot chickens. I always have a soup made. If you want to make things really easy, you could just cut up a roasted chicken. You could even buy Applegate Farms makes a box in Whole Foods. I know they carry it, a grilled chicken that happens to be delicious. Just having a lot of vegetables and salads on hand make the meal and creating the meal way easier. Some afternoon snack ideas. I love matcha. You can make a matcha latte, ginger tea, all kinds of teas are wonderful. They really become your diet friend. Tea is very, very warming and filling and grounding. And oftentimes you are really not hungry, but you are thirsty. So we talk a lot about hydration and how important hydration is for staving off hunger and especially cravings around sugar. It's so important to drink minimum of half your body weight in ounces. I always will say, even if you could try to get close to 100 ounces a day, I know that sounds like a lot, but I would shoot for it. It will make a huge difference. People don't realize that we are made up mostly of water. And when we are lacking and dehydrated, you actually feel like you need food. Because back in the day when we didn't have the water sources and we really were dehydrated, we would go to the foods that had a lot of water content. So the body really kind of gives mixed signals. Some other things I love are turkey jerkies, beef jerkies, if you are an animal protein eater. Of course, if you are more plant-based, lentils and chickpeas and tofu are also amazing. Some of my other favorites are snacklins. They're a great little plant-based chip, flackers, nuts and veggies. And I love kombucha for someone who's trying to get off of their drinking. Kombucha can be an amazing, amazing substitute. Okay. These are just some ideas for meal ideas and strategies. Obviously, everyone's going to have their own way of eating, but I just want to show you the more balanced and nutrient dense foods. You really will not feel a crash in the afternoon. It really, really does work. And the higher protein you go, the better. Protein, I mean, this is something I also spend a lot of time on, but just to give you guys some sense of how much protein you really do need, you would take your kind of goal body weight and multiply it times 0.8 or 1. That number in grams is the amount of protein that you should be shooting for on a daily basis. It's like almost double what is recommended. What's recommended is a very, very minuscule amount, kind of for survival. So trust me on this, the higher protein, you will not have nearly the sugar cravings that you might be experiencing right now. So I'm not going to spend too much time here, but basically you want to have a higher protein, higher fat breakfast. Lunches and dinners sort of resemble each other with a lot of greens and vegetables, a lovely amount of protein. You can always include some complex carbohydrates, healthy fat at each meal. And I literally lean more towards a whole food, plant-based diet with animal protein because I am a fan of it, but that does not mean that I work with vegetarians and vegans and really whatever works best for you. Just a picture of some healthy foods here, but I want to give you guys more time. I don't need to spend time on the pictures. Some sleep and other really important factors. I think that most people forget that these are the things that really impact how you navigate around food. If you do not get proper sleep, your hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin, are deregulated. They are the hormones that say, stop, I'm full, I've had enough, and I'm still hungry. And when you don't get your right sleep, these hormones are truly messed up, I promise. So I'm sure that you've had the experience where you've had a super, super late night, or you really couldn't sleep. And the next day, you're not only tired, but you're really hungry. That's the reason why. So if you're not sleeping well, if you do not have a really awesome nighttime routine, this is something we want to look at. Obviously important to keep your bedroom on the colder side. If you are going through any changes and you find yourself super hot at night, I highly, highly recommend you look into something called Chili Pad. It's a thin pad that goes underneath your fitted sheet and it cools down the bed. You can get it just for your side of the bed, or you can get it for the entire bed. I have just mine on my side. It comes with a little tank that sits next to the bed. You fill it with water, and it's really pretty amazing. Since I got the Chili Pad last September, I have pretty much slept through the night every single night. Like, it has changed my life. And everyone I've told about Chili Pad says the same thing. So these are all things that will help you to sleep. Also, hot shower or bath before bed, always wonderful. I'm a real fan of magnesium citrate or Calm. Really, really helps not only with sleep to calm you down and to go to the bathroom. Sleepy time tea, essential oils, lavender, all these things. Basically, a nighttime routine is super, super important. You want to tell your body, we're moving into a new phase of the day. We want to turn off the electronics at least an hour before bedtime. No food 1 to 2 hours before bed. This is really important, guys. This is going to help you not only lose weight, but you are going to sleep so much better. These other really important factors, like I said, reducing stress, having meaningful, beautiful relationships in your world are so important. Daily movement and sunlight. So, as you can see, many factors play a role in your desire for sugar and excess food. Become curious about what foods work for you, how they make you feel, and why you're craving what you're craving. Are your desires more emotional, or are they coming from a place of emptiness? Are you looking to fill yourself up with food, or really something else in your life? Work on strengthening your gut flora, staying away from those processed foods and sugars and white flours as much as possible, and looking at your lifestyle, sleep, stress, nutrition, movement, thoughts. They all impact your cravings and your ability to create a healthy lifestyle for yourself. Now, I have a lot of other things that I do want to talk about that I didn't put on the PowerPoint. So I'm going to just stop share and I'm going to just kind of continue along. And I'm going to get to the questions. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, here we are. Okay. So I do want to mention this, that I feel that people generally are putting so much emphasis on, what do I eat? Everyone wants me to give them a meal plan. I just crack up. I'm like, guys, you can Google what to eat. Guess what? You know what to eat. I know that if I were to have a one-on-one session with each one of you, you would rattle off the most beautiful, perfect day of food, right? I know you would. The thing is, why aren't you doing it? What's getting in the way? It's really understanding what's at the root. It's what is tripping you up. What are the sabotaging thoughts? What are your limiting beliefs? What is going on that you can't seem to do what you know you need to do? So whether it's something that's physical that's going on, like I talked about with your gut flora, is it something that is mental? And when I say mental, I mean your neurotransmitters. Maybe it's dopamine and serotonin, and you're always looking for a reward in the brain, which is not uncommon. I personally run really low with my neurotransmitters. I have been taking something for years because my serotonin and dopamine just run really low. I'm like low level. So for me, I've been on Wellbutrin for a long time, plus supplements to keep those neurotransmitters running the way they need to. And I still desire my sweets, but I'm saying that prior to really discovering that I ran low, I was craving things all the time. So we've got the physical things going on in your body, and then we have the mental and emotional things happening. There's a lot at play here. And then we have foods that are very addictive. So you've got a lot kind of at you. And that's why I always say, like, if you're feeling a little broken, if you're feeling a little off, I'm here to say you're not. You're going to be okay. We just have to tease this stuff out and figure out what is it that's really just causing you to act out with food, if that's what you're doing. And I know this sounds crazy, and I've written a lot about this lately in my blog and everything, but weight loss really has little to do with food. Yeah, we need to eat nutrient-dense food. I mean, come on. We know we need salads and vegetables and chicken and avocado. I mean, that's all, we know all that. But we really have to figure out, why are you doing what you're doing, and what's happening with your habits? Why can't we create the healthy lifestyle that you so desperately want? Now, I know many of you maybe have tried so many diets out there, and you can very easily go on a very restrictive plan for 8 weeks, lose 15 pounds, but then what? Are you learning really how to navigate with food? Are you learning how to be in relationship with food? Are you learning what drives you to do what you're doing? Are you figuring out why you're standing in the pantry at 4 p.m, just looking for something to put in your mouth? Have you figured out why? Are you really hungry? What are you really hungry for? So that's what I do. That is what I do with you. Okay. So I'm going to just give you, because I know a lot of you are like, Audrey, I want tips, I want tricks, I want to know what to do, right? So I'm going to give you some stuff. I can't give everything, but I'm going to give you some things so that you can at least feel like you learned something this evening. Okay, so in terms of weight loss, just some little hacks. I love to do fasted cardio in the morning. I think it works. At least it's always worked well for me. And what does that mean? So you get up, you have water, you can have black coffee, you can have black tea, nothing in it, and do some sort of cardio. Even if it's for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, the body tends to burn a lot of fat when you do that. So that's just like one little hack that I've always done for years, and I think it really works well, but try it on for size. I will always say, maybe limit your carbohydrates in the morning unless you're doing a very heavy duty workout where you want some carbs. But I'd say keep it a little bit more to protein and fat and lots of veggies. And I'm saying, like, no bagel, no English muffin, no whole wheat bread, no waffles, like all those processed carby things. Have fruit, have things high in fiber, have a lot of vegetables, have eggs, make a great protein shake. I'm going to tell you my favorite new protein shake. I am addicted. It's called Kachava. I'm going to put it in the chat. K-A, I don't know if anyone's ever tried it, K-A-C-H-A-V-A. Cachava. I have the chocolate. It's to die for. It is like a chocolate milkshake. And you only need water. Water and ice, it's ridiculous. It is loaded with, it's plant-based protein, loaded with superfoods, loaded with adaptogens, it's loaded with greens. It's like, got this, it has a prebiotic, a probiotic, a digestive enzyme. It's like off the charts amazing. So no sugar, Tracy. No sugar. It's really awesome. So I'm all about it. Okay. So we talked about the morning. Water, water, water. I know you say like, oh, everyone says drink water, but it's true. Water works. Drink close to 90, 100 ounces a day if you can, at least just shoot for it. If you don't drink water, start. Get yourself a gorgeous water bottle, whether it's glass or metal, and just start drinking. If you do one thing this week for yourself, start drinking water. And I love lemon in water in the morning. So what I do is I'll put a few slices of lemon in my big glass of water and I bring it upstairs. So when in the morning, I just drink my lemon water upon awakening, and I kind of promise myself I'm going to finish that big glass before I head downstairs because I'm going to have my coffee soon after, but I want to hydrate first. So get that water and lemon in there. Start paying attention to labels, okay? Sugar is hiding everywhere. There are so many items with added sugars today. So when you pick up a product in the store, I want you to turn it around. I want you to look at the ingredients. I want you to look at the calories and look at added sugar. Companies now have to, by law, put the added sugars in. They didn't about a year ago. I really suggest not doing anything with any more than like 10 grams of added sugar at the most. I really try to stay beneath that. Like I like when it says I like when it says 0, but 2 grams, 4 grams of added sugar is cool. I wouldn't go any higher than that if you don't have to. If you really need to have a sweet and you're really trying to get off of sugar, and I will dive more into this in my program, but some starchy vegetable, like some butternut squash or a little sweet potato with a little teaspoon of almond butter and cinnamon really does the trick. Sometimes when you're looking for a sweet, if you give yourself this sweet in the form of a nice starchy vegetable or a potato, like a sweet potato, with that healthy fat, which is rich, and cinnamon helps to balance blood sugar, this is delicious. I know it sounds kind of weird, but trust me, it's so good. And it really takes the edge off. If you're really saying like, that's it, I'm done with sugar, no more junk, this is a great afternoon snack. I also like, in terms of supplements, there's one thing I recommend and it works. It's called L-Glutamine, the letter L, glutamine, Glutamine. It comes in pill form or powder form. You can take about 2,500 milligrams per time you take it, and you can take it really up to about 3 times a day. I like it kind of before meals. You kind of don't eat it in the morning. I'd say a half hour before lunch, a half hour before dinner. And it works wonders. It is amino acids that when the body and brain are looking for sugar, this will feed it what the body is sort of looking for without it being real sugar. It's something I've been using on and off for years. I recommend it to all of my clients and they really do have success with it. It's also very, very good for the lining of your gut. It's a strength, it strengthens the lining of the gut. If anyone has any gut issues or leaky gut, L-Glutamine is always in one of the supplements that you'd be given by, a functional medicine doctor. Like I said, 7 to 8 hours of sleep, preferably at night. And I say 7-ish because some people do great with 6, some people even really function well on 5. I don't know how they do it, but I'm like an 8.5 hour a night girl. And I just know that's my sweet spot. 6, I don't function well. So sleep, so important, and so important to really create that beautiful nighttime routine for yourself. In terms of hacks, the other one, and this is sort of my favorite, is nothing after dinner. Just nothing to eat after dinner. And really give yourself a minimum of a 12-hour fast. So if the last bite of food goes in your mouth at 7 at night, you don't eat anything until 7 or later the next day. A 12 or 13-hour fast is something I recommend for everybody, day in and day out. It really gives your digestion and your body a chance to do what it needs to do. And I just know from so much experience and working with hundreds of people that when you limit what you eat at night, the body just lets go a lot easier. Those are kind of my biggest sort of weight loss, how to deal with sugar situations. I know there's so much more when it comes to sugar, but really just being conscious of where sugar is lurking. And obviously no sodas, no juices, none of that. And I don't think I have to even say that to you guys, but if you're looking for flavor, you can steep fresh fruit in water, fresh fruit in seltzer, make beautiful iced teas. You don't even need to add sweetener, but if you need, stevia is totally acceptable in my book, in small amounts. I wouldn't overdo it. The idea is to kind of get the sweet off your tongue. And if you keep having things like stevia and God forbid Splenda or any of that, which please don't have, it's so bad for you. But if you do, you really want to try to wean yourself off because you want to get that sweet off your tongue so that when you have berries, your mouth is bursting and they end up being so sweet to you. It does take time. If anyone here is listening and you're really trying to really get off of it, give yourself a good 4, 6, 8 weeks to start to really feel comfortable. But the more you do it, you're going to end up looking at desserts and looking at things and saying it's not even registering anymore and I don't get it. It's because the brain and your dopamine receptors actually start to heal. And the brain kind of makes this, it's almost like there's a disconnection that happens where the brain, like right now, if you're really ingesting these things, you could think about going to the gelato local shop and your mouth almost starts to water just thinking about it, right? Or you could be walking into a chocolate shop before you even put anything in your mouth, your brain is lighting up. When you start to get rid of the sugars, that won't happen anymore. The brain starts to heal and you could walk up to a Viennese table and be like, whatever. It truly does happen. I've had the experience myself. So it takes time. Be patient with yourself and just know that you'll get there. It's just going to take a little bit of patience, a little bit of playing around with what works for you and finding the swaps and the things that can still make you happy, but won't be derailing your efforts. So I kind of want to just finish up with, you're going to hear me say this over and over again, especially for the people who possibly have worked with me or those who are going to continue working with me. But when you really become your own best friend and you really start truly listening to your body and paying attention to the many signals that your body is giving you, your decisions around food will be guided by how you want to feel. I'm going to say that again. When you really start listening to your body and paying attention to the many signals that your body is giving you, your decisions around food will be guided by how you want to feel. And you're probably thinking, Audrey, of course I want to feel good, but I just can't stop. I promise you, you can stop. You just have to be working, honestly, whether it's me or somebody else, but working with the right person, guiding you, giving you the right kind of information, the right kinds of things to be eating when you're really troubled, but even more so, learning really who you are and what makes you tick and being able to just kind of stop yourself when you're in the pantry, because you're going to have me in your head, and take a breath and put your hand on your stomach and put your hand on your chest and say, what's going on for me? What is it in this moment that I really need right now? Is it really food? Is it really the cookie? Is it really the muffin? What do I really need? And ask yourself and walk around, turn around, and maybe you're upset about something. Maybe you're frustrated about something. maybe you just feel uneasy. I'm going to be really vulnerable with you guys for a moment. Last night, I was sitting at this computer just about now. I'd finished dinner. I wasn't hungry. I have a lot going on right now in my world with my business and clients and my children and just life, right? We all have stuff. And I'm trying to work and I'm so agitated in my own body. And I wanted to just put something in my mouth because that's my default too. And I walked into the kitchen and I said to my husband, I am so uncomfortable in my own body right now. Like, I just don't know what to do. I just want to eat. Like, I'd love to just sit down to a big bowl of ice cream, but knowing that that wasn't going to solve anything. But I knew I needed to do something oral. And I'm not so against finding a swap. Sometimes we just need to do something oral, and that's okay. But let's find things that aren't going to hurt us or derail our efforts. I knew sitting down to ice cream would make it worse. That would be a double whammy. I was already uncomfortable. Now I'm going to pack on 400 calories. No way. So I went to my pantry where I have my little stash of special teas and potions, and I pulled out my golden milk. I don't know if anyone knows what golden milk is, but it's like a turmeric mix. It's got turmeric and black pepper and some really yummy spices. And you can buy golden milk. This is another little tip. You can buy it at Whole Foods. You can get it on Amazon. It comes in a variety of different, a lot of companies make golden milk. You warm up some. For me, I warmed up my almond milk. I whisked in my golden milk, my big 30 calories. I warmed up this drink. I came to my computer right here and I sipped on this warm, delicious, cozy drink. And it was amazing. It fit the bill. It was something oral. It calmed me down. It settled me down. I continued to work for a few more hours. And more than anything, I was so proud that I didn't just give in to wanting to eat something, that I sat with myself. I had a conversation with myself. I talked to myself about it, and I came up with a solution. That's what we need to do, guys. We need to have these conversations. Just being given a diet plan, eat this, not that, is that really solving anything? Like, no, it's not. So this is what we do. This is what Audrey does with you. We get to the bottom of stuff and we really make long-lasting, life-changing changes that are going to take you forever, that you're going to take with you for the next 100 years, God willing. So listen, I know I said a lot tonight. It was a lot to digest. But if you're looking to get faster, easier, less painful results, join me. I have an amazing program that starts September 28th. And if it's not now, it's going to be in January and it's going to be again in April, but I'd love to have you now. Let's do this before the holidays get here. So what is it? It's called the ZO program, and it's an 8-week program. And we meet like this every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get me. And a bunch of the weeks, I have a special guest with me. These women and men are amazing. And we talk and dive into some really awesome topics. You don't need me just talking about food and calories and macros every week. It gets really boring. And like I said, it's not just about the food. It's about all the other stuff. So I bring so much richness to this program by having these amazing special people join me. Every Sunday, you're going to get an email in your inbox with a teaching module. You get me like this with a PowerPoint, and I'm teaching you something really awesome. Then there's a private Facebook group. And in that group, all the women are together. And every day I'm in and out of that group answering questions, posting recipes. I found this new product. I was in Whole Foods. You guys got to order this. And everyone is sharing what they're doing and what they found in a meal that they made. And it's just a place where we cheer each other on. And if you're having a problem, you go there as well. So we've got the private Facebook group. We have the amazing weekly sessions that are recorded. So if for some reason you can't make it live, you'll get it in the program, you'll get the recording and you can listen at your leisure, and a teaching module every week. So it's an amazing, I say amazing, and I know that sounds kind of funny because it's my program, but it really is amazing. And everyone that's done it has had so much success. Yes, you're going to lose weight, but more importantly, you're going to learn how to live in relationship with food in such a beautiful way. You're going to hear things and things, your mind is going to just explode when you hear what you're going to hear. What else? Oh, if you sign up early by the 10th, so I extended it. It was supposed to end today, but I extended it for you guys. I am giving some amazing gifts. If you sign up by midnight on the 10th, you get a one-on-one session with me. You get 2 great downloads, like a travel guide and an eating out guide, and you get a ticket to my holiday mastermind, which is going to be happening in December. I have date to be determined, but special guest is going to be like a few hours online. You're going to get some special holiday gifts sent to your home. It's going to be like a little holiday party type thing, but with a lot of great content. So you get all those things for free. So if you're interested in my program, it really behooves you just sign up before the 10th so you can get those freebies. And if you want more one-on-one attention with me, if you're like, oh, I love the group, but I really want Audrey, I really want a couple sessions with her, go the VIP. You get 4 private sessions with me and full access to me, email, text, and phone throughout the 8 weeks that we're working together. And those 4 sessions you can use whenever you want. We can schedule them. It could be like 1 a month. It could be 4 in a row, whatever works for you. I'm happy to accommodate you in your schedule. So that's kind of it about the program. If you wanted to join, you can head over to my website, which is livezohealthy.com, under programs, and even on the home page, it says So program. You can find it. I'm sure you've all kind of seen it. And I'm sending emails every day. I'm really sorry if I'm bugging you. If you have no interest, just delete. It's just part of the marketing. It's what we got to do because people need to see them over and over and over again, or they just forget. So I apologize in advance. I hate bothering you guys, but my team says it has to be done. So let me just make sure that I have answered things. Magnesium oxide. You know, I always do magnesium citrate. I am not so familiar with magnesium oxide, so I'd have to just look at it. But MJ, I'm guessing it's fine, but I can do a little bit of digging just to make sure that it is okay. But I always just do the citrate. That's just the one I've always used. And my golden milk, it's, oh gosh, I can see the name in my head. I got it at Whole Foods. I want to say it's something Aya, like, I'm going to have to get back to you on that. MJ, I can let you know. I just forget the name of the company. Like I can see it in my head, but I just don't remember it. MJ Golden. No. Okay. Gaia. Yes, that's it. Thank you. Thank you, Telma. Yes, it's Gaia. That's the one. Perfect. Okay. Does anybody want to ask me anything or talk? Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to say anything at all. We're a small group, so it's totally fine. Anybody? Any questions? Anything you want to know about the program?
I do.
Yes.
So I think there was something you either mentioned on your website or some you had written about, but I thought it was something that it could have been gold milk, but it was some MYLK. What is that product?
Oh, yes. Okay. That is an almond milk with almond milk and oat milk company. And it's Good Milk. Hold on. Let me just I want to make sure I'm getting it right for you. I believe it's GOODMYLK. Yes, it's Good Milk Co. GOODMYLK Co. And they make, really, it's interesting. It's an almond milk and an oat milk that has a lot of adaptogens in it, and it comes in powder form. So you can just like take the powder and throw it in, and then just like use one of those little immersion kind of whiskey things, and it will kind of froth up for you. So the company had sent it to me as a gift, and I had posted about it. That's probably why you're remembering it, and it's actually really good. So I do like it, but I mean, it's not like the only thing I use. I always have, I have other almond milks in my fridge all the time. I kind of go back and forth. I can't say it's like, I only use that. I kind of use an assortment of things, but that was the company. Yeah. Sure. Anybody else?
Good evening. This is Joyce.
Hi, Joyce.
Hi, I have a question. You talked about milk. We're talking about milk. I think you mentioned something about turmeric milk. Is it something that you buy, or is it what you can make for like an evening tea?
Yes. So Joyce, it's made from turmeric and other spices, and it's called golden milk. So you can buy like just the golden milk. It's like, it comes in a powder. So you could even just go onto Amazon and type in golden milk. I do own the company by Gaia, G-A-I-A. It happens to be delicious. And you take like a tablespoon and you kind of just mix it right into your, if you use regular milk, that's fine. I'm a non-dairy milk person. But it's delicious, and it's a wonderful, wonderful treat for the evening. So if anyone's looking for something at night when like you just shouldn't really necessarily be eating, but you want something, I love the idea of golden milk. It's wonderful. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Okay, great. I'll look into that. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely. You're welcome. Oh, thank you. I'm so happy you guys enjoyed this. Any other questions? Anything else? You saying goodbye, Tracy? Was that a wave, or is that yes, you want to talk?
That's a wave. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you. All right, well, if you guys are good, then we're going to sign off. I so appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions at all about the program, if you're interested, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email. I will respond to you right away. And I hope to see you down the road in the future in my program in a few months, whatever works for you. And feel free to pass along if you think that this isn't necessarily the perfect thing for you right now. Pass it along to any friends or coworkers that you think would benefit from this work. Okay. So thank you again for joining me, and I will see you soon. Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.